Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today in the Balaghatul Quran, we are going to discuss the eyewitnessing system in Islam. And there has been so much literature written about eyewitnessing, the the process of encoding, the process of storage, the process of retrieval of information, and so much literature has been written in different, especially in the field of psychology, in the different aspects of memory, in the difference between the male and the female of memory. I'm not here so much to discuss the difference between the male and the female, but we're here to understand literature and eloquence of language. So, so let me just start by showing you a report. So because I need to set it based upon a scientific standard, and then from there I'll ask you the question, and go ahead and you will go ahead and try to make a sentence on your own that tries to eloquently put everything into a proper language. I could tell you, after a lot of research in investigative psychology and eyewitness testimony, you could literally, there are hundreds of books put into this one sentence in a very, very eloquent way. And not only that, in a better way, as I will explain, inshallah. But first, I need to give some scientific steppings to this discussion, and therefore, even though this is not a class on science, but there is a need for some scientific research looked at first. This is a website. It's called Women's Brain Health Initiative, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because you know how the Quran says 2 witnesses for men, and then when it comes to women, Quran wants more eyewitnesses, and so therefore 2 women is equal to 1 man. So I just want to so it starts with, as the largest resource information of specific to women's brain health, are you sure we are sure you will find what you are looking for, and promise that you will discover new information. Anyway, so now this is looking at a specific research here, which is women have less accurate memories than men. Women have far less accurate memories than men, at least when it comes to nasty events, or where there is discord, or where there is a disagreement. Women remember unpleasant events far less accurately than men do. Say University of Montreal researchers. Women's memory blur when it comes to any emotional events, and you can look this up and read it yourself. And because if you look at the eyewitnessing testimony, there is research that shows that women have better memory than men. Like, for example, men forget their wives' birthdays, or so on and so forth. I'm not encouraging birthdays here, but I'm just saying their anniversaries, so on and so forth. So the point being that the eyewitness research is itself, you can reach many different conclusions. You can even reach the conclusion that women have better memory than men. But certainly this research that I'm showing you was specific to emotional events. So, for example, even long time in our tradition of Islamic scholars, it's always been said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a mercy, makes women forget, and that allows them to have more children. So, because they forget the pain, or the emotional aspect of the pain is lightened as a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, so women have less accurate memories than men. So this is the first thing. But actually there is some studies that show the issue when it comes to women is not from the people who have studied eye testimony, because those are laboratory-oriented studies, and they are suspect to a certain amount of error, which any person doing the investigation will tell you. But I would like you to look at this book, Female and Forgetful, and this is about, women do have changes in hormones. They do have changes throughout their lives when it comes to issues, especially long-term memory, and especially for sure, spatial memory in women is affected. And so Female and Forgetful is about women who tend to forget a lot more than normal. So now, eyewitnessing is a evidence, but you have to be careful with eyewitness evidence, in which the Quran is very careful about it. So it doesn't accept one testimony per se. If it was maybe one short-term event that everyone else can verify, for example, the moon is full today, and one person's testimony could be enough as long as it is a clear day, and there's no need for a second testimony to counter that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن لَمْ يَكُونَ رَجُلَيْنِ فَرَجُلٌ أَوْ إِمْرَأَتَانِ. So if there's no two men, again, Islam is very aware of the fact that eyewitness accounts can be wrong up to 30% of what they say. And men can be wrong too about specifics, like women have a better memory when it comes to specifics like what color jeans was he wearing, so on and so forth. Also, if it's a traumatic event, women tend to forget more. And the reason for that is that women, more than men, focus on the weapon. So let's say if the guy has a knife, women are totally focused on the knife, more so than the men. Anyway, فَإِن لَمْ يَكُونَ رَجُلَيْنِ فَرَجُلٌ أَوْ إِمْرَأَتَانِ مِمَّنْ تَرْضَوْنَ مِنَ الشُّهَدَاءِ. So two women and a man of those whom you agree with, meaning tardona, between the two parties, because there's no there's no defense and prosecution in Islam as such. It's not a trial by jury, it is a trial by judge, which is far better than jury, which we can discuss inshallah one day. Now I want you to quickly now write down what should be done in the case of if one eyewitness disagrees with the other eyewitness. What happens in the modern court system is that they're left at the discretion of the listener to decide who is right and who is wrong. But Islam says, particularly in the case of women, that they should correct each other and remind each other. So very quickly, أَن تَضِلَّ إِحْدَاهُمَا. If one of them goes wrong, either for whatever reason, if she makes a mistake, تَضِلَّ could be mistake or intentional. إِحْدَاهُمَا, if one of them goes wrong, فَتَذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى, let the other eyewitness correct her. So, number one, this provides women with a support system. Like Imam Shafi's mother said, I'm not going to be interrogated by the judge alone. She wanted another person there, and she read this ayah because Islam wants to give women a support system. And second is, there is a scientific fact that women's memory is a little bit weaker, and Islam takes this into account, especially when it comes to emotional events and traumatic events. And so, أَن تَضِلَّ إِحْدَاهُمَا فَتَذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى. How could you have written this any more in less words, concise words, better words, and you can write a whole book on this. If one forgets, or if one makes a mistake, if one makes a mistake in detail or whatever, let them remind the other. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.